Bob Tammen, you're from the range. You worked up in an iron mine near Hibbing. We described the situation on the range as being a magnet for poverty. Tell us more about that.
Well, you know, I'm old enough to have seen a little history. And I think back of all the jobs I worked. I worked at Hibbing Tack and Mintac and on the old Erie property and the old Reserve Mining Company property. And I think back, I had some fairly decent jobs. There was a little boom and bust. And I guess I did well enough when I look back over the years. But I look back at the communities where I worked, and those communities are not thriving. A history of mining has not left them with a healthy main street. The Mesabi Iron Range is about 100 miles long. There's about 24 communities along the length of that range. We got 6 operating taconite plants right now. We don't have a healthy main street along the length of the range. Those towns are hurting. And the reason they're hurting is because they stake their future on mining, and mining no longer creates healthy communities.
You mentioned that the St. Louis River, which is a storied and fabled river, especially for the Anishinaabe, no longer supports wild rice. Why is that?
Right now there's over a 100-mile dead zone in the St. Louis River. That's been documented by our tribal neighbors on the Fond du Lac Reservation. The reason that 100-mile dead zone exists is because the mining companies are leaking sulfates into our public waters. I've gone and I put a canoe on that river, and I've been on the St. Louis River above where the mining waste dumps in, and they got wild rice up there where the water is clean. You drop down to where you start getting mining waste, the rice starts to deteriorate. You get a few miles farther down, the rice is gone, and it doesn't come back until you get down almost to Lake Superior, where some clean rivers dump in again to dilute the sulfates from the iron mining.
And of course, the Kakagan Sloughs is one of the prime wild rice bodies of water in North America. And it's downstream from this proposed Pinocchio mountaintop removal. What's the impact going to be on the Mahnomen?
I have to believe that it's going to be very damaging. Typically, the mining companies' tailings ponds are leakers. They design them, they know they're going to leak, they don't mind them leaking because they want to get rid of some of that polluted water so they can bring in fresh water for their crushing operation. All the taconite tailings ponds on the Iron Range are leaking right now. It doesn't appear that there's any way to stop them politically or with engineering features. We don't have the political will to clean up our messes. I think it's a big mistake to permit any more mining operations before we've demonstrated that we have the political will to clean up our existing operations.
The state of Wisconsin is one of the least attractive political climates for mining in North America. And we hope to retain that title over the rest of our lifetime. How can we do that?
It's going to take a lot of political action, and I advise people to be talking to attorneys, be ready to lawyer up, if nothing else, to give your legislators and your regulators the backbone to do the right thing. We have the science. The science is on our side. We know that these mines are killing our wild rice. Do we have the political power to make the mining companies clean up? And until we develop that political power to force the mining companies to clean up their existing messes, we shouldn't be permitting any future messes. We should not permit any more mining until we clean up our existing messes.
This is Nick Vander Puy and Bob Tammen for Superior Broadcast Network in Ashland, Wisconsin. Miigwech.
Miigwech.